Hello everyone, it is Anna from DataSunrise, and today we will go through manual installation of DataSunrise on AMI Linux machine. But before, I'd like to give a quick overview of available deployment options. DataSunrise can be deployed in cloud or installed on premises. Also, our solution can be delivered in containerized environment. DataSunrise is offered on marketplace of the main cloud providers such as AWS, Azure, and also Google Cloud Platform. But as I mentioned, today we will install DataSunrise on Amazon Linux machine, and I have already launched my machine, and now we are ready to install DataSunrise. Okay, I have already downloaded DataSunrise installation package, and now we need to execute the next command to start our installation process. Okay, let's execute. So now DataSunrise is installing on the machine and it can take up to 2 minutes maybe. Currently DataSunrise is installing with default settings. That means that for dictionary and audit databases that are required for DataSunrise configuration, we use SQLite database. Okay, DataSunrise is installed. And now we can go to our web console, but since I am using a machine deployed on AWS to access our web console, we need to use IP address of that machine and also specify port number 11,000. Here we are. Okay, now we need to log in to our console using our admin credentials, but since we didn't specify it during the installation process, password is not set yet. Okay, firstly we need to provide license key. Okay, now we need to specify password for our admin user. Okay, the next step is to specify details about SMTP server, but I will skip it. And also database, we will do it a little bit further. Okay, now we are inside, and here you can see our main dashboard. On this dashboard you can find information about DataSunrise current state and configuration, also information about recent events and so on. And let's add our first database. We'll add S3 bucket, Amazon S3 storage. So we need to specify access and secret keys of our AWS account. Okay, let's click test. Success. Okay, save. Here we can see that our S3 storage was added to DataSunrise, and now let's proceed with DataSunrise data discovery task. We are going to create new task, and we need to give a logic name, S3 data discovery, for example. Select an instance where we'd like to search data, search sensitive data. Here we also can provide some search parameters like specify minimal percentage of March, number of analyzed rows, this parameter is more for unstructured data, and also select task mode. Standard run data, each time runs data discoveries from scratch. With incremental mode you can search the sensitive data just in modified files, and randomized mode allows you to scan specific percentage of the bucket. But we will go with the standard. We also can provide information what buckets we'd like to search across for sensitive data, and I will use my ENA demo data bucket. You can see here that I have a few folders with different file types: structured, unstructured, semi-structured. Also here we have some pictures in the OCR folder, because DataSunrise has native capabilities to discover sensitive data on the pictures. Okay, let's select this bucket. Also we can specify more detailed criteria for object name and extensions, exclude some files, and also, for example, we can specify tag criteria. If some files and buckets in AWS has tags, we can specify them here to search just across the specific files with the specified tag. The next steps is to specify what approach will be taken to search sensitive data by security standards, or we will be searching by information types. DataSunrise provides a lot of built-in information types you can use to discover sensitive data. But let's select security standard, this time GDPR. Okay, here we can specify expert options. For example, if I wanted to generate report, I would have an option to send the report to the subscriber, to the subscriber option. Also a consent notification about task status to the subscriber, like for example via email, or execute external command once data discovery task is finished. We also can set frequency, like manual start or each day or daily, etc. And now there are different additional settings that can be implemented, and as you remember, I have added OCR folder to the discovery parameters, so I need to enable image data discovery. That is disabled by default. Okay, now everything is ready. We can click apply and start task. While DataSunrise is searching for sensitive data, I'd like to give a quick overview of information types. DataSunrise has built-in information types, and also you can create custom ones. Let's create one. We are creating an information type called ENA. Here you can create different attributes that, for example, will be targeting different file formats where we'd like to find the specific ENA information type. And by creating attribute, for creating attribute, you need to specify attribute filters. We have a few attribute filters, and optionally you can provide and select just those ones you'd like to use. For example, if we specify object name, DataSunrise is searching for specific file name or SQL table name. Column name is used for SQL tables, so DataSunrise will also match column name. And column data, it is data in the column or data inside the file. Here we can select targeted column data type, And for example, when we are selecting strings, we have the following search methods. If we select to specify template, here we can provide regular expression or a specific pattern. So DataSunrise will use this technique to match sensitive data. We also can specify lexicon. It's like a dictionary with different values, and DataSunrise will do dictionary lookup to find the sensitive data. Also, we have native NLP discovery capabilities to support search across unstructured data, and with unstructured text we can also run data discovery for unstructured data types. Here we not just can provide regular expression on pattern like Anna, for example, we can also specify validators here, like positive and negative keywords that should be found next to the words or not found next to the word. Also, we can apply validation algorithm for this specific value. We have some built-in options like Loa algorithm, but you also can create your one and select it here. Also, we have here alternative validators that can be used to specify positive and negative keywords for object name filter. And to the right we have testing options that allows us to check if our attribute was created properly. Like, let's test it. For example, let's go with the template option, and here I specified that the sensitive value is Anna, and now let's run a test here. Here everything is matched, but let's add another detail that I'd like that file should have name employee, and here our name is test. In this case we can see that object name is not matched, and during the discovery it means that this specific data is not matched with this attribute. I hope everything is clear, and now let's be back to the discovery task we run. It is already finished, and we can go to the results. Here you can see task parameters, also statistics about scanned objects and information types found inside. And here you can see where and what sensitive data is discovered. Different sensitive data types were found. And now you can proceed to set further protection measures, like by selecting sensitive data findings and creating a rule, etc. Okay, I hope everything was clear in this video. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.